This is the Sega Genesis Ultimate Portable Game Player from AtGames. And just like the console version of this thing, it's a Firecore console. So it may have some sound issues. Actually, it does. And I think the sound issues are a little worse than on the console version. Because, see this speaker right here? It's horrible. Because when you have the volume turned all the way up, it's gonna be extremely distorted. When you use headphones with this thing, however, it's not really that much of a problem. Anyways, let's check out the games that this thing comes with. Well, at least some of them. Let's start with one of my favorite Sonic games, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Okay. The sounds are still horrible, I told you. And it plays just about the same as on the console version, but the video quality isn't as blurry. But yeah, it's still very playable. You know, the only problem really is the sound quality. It's horrible. And it's even worse when the volume is turned all the way up. But other than that, it's still very playable. But if you want to get a portable Sega Genesis, I recommend getting the Sega Nomad. Which actually was made by Sega. Still, this thing is okay. Not as good as the original Sega Genesis or the Sega Nomad. But it's decent enough. Now let's try Pack Attack. Or Pack Panic, whatever you want to call it. No, you cannot do versus mode on this thing. There's no two-player. Anyways, this game is kind of like Tetris, but Pac-Man themed. D-pad is kind of touchy. I think it was designed more for diagonal inputs than straight inputs. So that's kind of a problem. But it still works. So there's that. The buttons themselves are also very functional. Okay, now let's try two of the bonus games. Air Hockey by DevWorks Game Technology. I love that company, actually. But I don't think you guys do, since you don't like the bonus games, but I do. It's kind of like Pong, but you can move all over the place, and the the goals are in the corners, and you could go to the other side. Which is weird, since most air hockey games I played, you can only be in this side, and the goals were in the middle. Other than that, it's still very playable. But not as playable as through an iPhone. But yeah, has catchy music though. I'll give it that. Okay, there's air hockey. Now for one of my all-time favorite bonus games, Mr. Balls. Also by DevWorks Game Technology. Let's do random. I got it. Multiple times, actually. I've beaten the game a lot. Now let's check out the SD card slot. Okay, let's see what we can do. I also have some of the Brazilian exclusive DevWorks games. And the Nito bootloader right here. So let's try that. It's in Portuguese, so you might not be able to understand what it's saying. I don't understand what it's saying either. So yeah, let's try out one of the Brazilian exclusive bonus games through the Nito bootloader. Anaconda, which is much better than the crappy included Snake game. So this is what the SD card slot does. You can add more games to it. I blame that on the D-pad. Though when you use the Nito bootloader, it kind of messes up the PSG, so let's turn it off and on again. There we go. Now let's try it without the Nito bootloader. Whoops. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyways, this is what it's like without the Nito bootloader. Doesn't that sound terrible? But, it's still very playable. So yeah, this was the Sega Genesis Ultimate Portable Game Player from AtGames. It's a decent thing. It's not as good as the Flashback HD from last year, also by AtGames. It's not as good as the real deal, obviously, but yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching.